welcome to another episode of Real Life with me, comedian Carl Yard. And my guest today is the great and very handsome Mr. Gary Pettinella.
Thank you.
Let's say for Gary. And to Gary's right is the very lovely humorist and entrepreneur, Alicia Constantino. Did I say that right, Alicia?
Yes, you did. Thank you.
We taped one show, and this is our second show. We had lots of fun on the first show, and we're going to have lots of fun on the second show. And this show that we're going to talk about is actually, we're going to talk about porn, but don't run, don't get scared, don't put the kids away. It's not going to be as intense as you think. Well, not porn, we're going to talk a little bit about sex and porn and stuff, but it's not going to be in a derogatory way or in a way that's going to, send you running out the backyard, with your kids in tow.
Oh, I'm out of here.
I just think not in today's society, in the American society as a whole, sex is seen as something that shouldn't be spoken about. We should, we use it to sell cars. We use it to sell all kind of products on TV. We use it in advertising ads. You can't see a car unless there's not some half-naked lady laying across the car. But yet, we're not allowed to talk about it. And that always kind of bugs me. I do stand-up shows, and before the show, the booker would say to me, don't be dirty, don't do any sexual jokes. I don't get how a sexual joke...
How is that dirty?
How is that dirty? I don't swear. I just talk about funny things that happen, when people have sex. There's some funny things that happen. I talk about that. But like I said, I don't swear. I don't get too graphic. I don't get graphic at all. But that part of my show is considered by some people as being dirty. So we're going to talk about why is sex considered dirty. And also, recently in Connecticut especially, I guess, at Connecticut State University, there have been some sexual assaults. Lots of women have been assaulted. And some women are saying it's guys who watch porn, eventually they go out and try to act out what they see in the porn world. Oh. I don't agree with that.
No.
I don't see how watching a porn movie can lead to rape, a guy raping. I think if you're going to rape, you're going to rape, regardless if you watch.
Well, psychologists say that rape is not about
sexual.
sex.
It's about power.
Yeah, it's about dominating somebody or, so it's not even about the sexual act.
So you don't think that watching a porn would lead to you going out and committing some kind of sexual act?
No.
Yeah.
Well, with myself maybe,
yeah.
But.
So Gary, why do you think people consider porn dirty? Why is it considered dirty?
Because the whole sexual thing, excuse me, and society for years, it was taboo to talk about. It's something that happened in the bedroom. Nobody discussed it. But porn it's out there. They used to have those little theaters, in the back where all the guys used to go years ago and hide themselves.
I was going to say, I knew nothing about this. How did I miss this? I was born too late.
But, now, it's an $80 billion industry.
I know. Porn is the biggest industry in the entire world.
But no one watches it, right?
Yeah, no one watches it.
No one watches it.
No one buys any sex toys.
Do you know that if you combine video games, movie tickets, DVD tickets, CD sales, you put them all together.
Porn's still bigger.
Porn's still number one. Combine all that entire number. Yeah. Add it up.
It's the hidden gem.
Gem?
Well,
okay.
I don't mean jewels.
Well, I
just think that society has come full circle, though, because, you go back, like, way, way back in the day, when you married a virgin, after you deflowered the virgin, they would come in and take the sheets and show people. Like, they were proud that they had sex.
Who did this?
This was, we're talking, a couple years before you were born, I'm sure. But, this is, sex was something that you were supposed to do. Like, that's, I don't know that it's supposed to be, we went through this whole Victorian thing where it's hidden, nobody discusses it. They were probably filthier than we are. We just, it wasn't as advertised, I don't think. I don't know that it's, I'm sure there's some people who assume that it's dirty or think that it's icky.
There's lots of people that consider.
If people look at porn and think of it as an educational video, I mean, I think the thing that hurts porn with people, like some people that don't like porn, I think those are people that are not comfortable with themselves.
I agree.
You know, that they can't watch somebody else on TV making love.
I mean, it's entertainment. Take it for what it is. I mean, it's not reality. I mean, it's no more real than any other movie that you watch.
Yeah, but the thing I don't get is why is it considered dirty? Like people will say you're watching a dirty movie. You're talking dirty. Now, everybody's doing it, so
I can't
considered
speak for
dirty?
people that think that.
Why did they say like?
I think because they're either offended by it on some level because either they can't do it, they won't do it, or maybe it's how they were raised. Maybe it's I don't know. I can't. I mean, I wouldn't put it on in the living room, and let the kids watch it. But if somebody brought it over, I wouldn't show them the door. You know what I mean? It's kind of a. But it depends too. I mean, there's different grades. Like I wouldn't watch. There's some things out there I just wouldn't watch. I mean, I think it's just disgusting. Men and dogs.
Oh, well, I'm not talking about the extreme stuff that's out there.
That's not.
I mean, that I would. Like like snuff films and.
Well, snuff films
are illegal. They're illegal, but.
But I'm saying like, even if you're going to say something sexual, even an adult to adult, they kind of lean over and whisper.
I have such a problem with women that say, oh my God, it's dirty, it's this and that. 50 Shades of Grey. We won't watch it, but we'll read it. What's the difference?
Like, what is the difference?
What is the difference?
Domination.
To me, it's nothing. It is, and that's a very sexualized
Did you read it?
Yeah, I read all of them.
I haven't. What is? Give me the gist of 50 Shades of Grey.
Well, they call that mommy porn.
I don't know why.
Give me and he laid her beautiful body on the bed and made passionate love.
No, it's not like that. It's very graphic. It really is. Yeah, I mean, it involves sex toys and S&M, and I mean, the girl is tied down. There's violence. I mean, he hurts her. He does. And women read the hell out of it. So I have a problem with everybody.
Why is that? Because
I think women have a fantasy.
What they want.
The number one fantasy for women is a rape fantasy. I mean,
Are you serious?
Yes, it is.
By a person they know, though, not like by.
I really don't know the specifics behind it, but I mean, I haven't interviewed every woman, but I read somewhere that women have. That's what women fantasize about.
Of being like.
Being taken.
Yeah, taken. I think it's more taken than not.
Yeah.
Than having somebody club them and
Oh yeah, no, I'm not discussing that.
But a husband comes home and sneaks in the house and sneaks upstairs, that kind of stuff.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? That kind of.
Why would a husband sneak in his own house?
Because the woman wants to be taken.
You're married, you tell me. Because he's late. I don't know. I mean, it's just I have a real problem with people who tell me that they won't watch porn, but they'll read things like that. What's the difference? Because women aren't visual creatures to begin with. Men are, visual creatures. Women don't want to see it. They don't want to see it in front of them. It does nothing for them. Plus I think too, women have, self-image issues, they have body issues, and they're looking at these girls on these screens, and they're beautiful. They're tiny, and they're all plastic, and they're put together well, and your husband's looking at this and drooling, and you're just like, I'm in my bathrobe, it's not the same.
But the thing is, why is it, dirty?
I don't think that they think it's dirty. I think that's just the easiest thing they can come up with. What are they really supposed to say? Honey, I don't want you watching porn because I'm not as pretty as that girl?
Well, I mean, the other thing too is
I can't get my leg that far behind my head. I mean, I think it brings all of women's insecurities right in the forefront and displays that for them.
It's more.
And I think that's a big part of it.
So they say it's dirty.
But men have the same insecurities.
Oh my God, it's disgusting.
Porn.
Get away from me.
Men have the same insecurities watching porn. If you start watching porn at a younger age, you never feel that you could please a woman because these guys in
dirty.
Oh,
the whole reason for me bringing this up is like people who say the whole sex thing is dirty.
It's only dirty if it's done right.
Yeah,
right? I agree. Yeah, I mean, I just think that's just easy. That's just an easier thing to say. Like, when you're a mother, you say, it's dirty. Don't touch that. It's dirty. Yeah. Like, I think that's just kind of the catch-all for it. I find it very hard to believe that women, they might tell you no. Yeah. I never
like the older generation,
porn.
Like your grandmother would,
Vintage porn, it existed, it was out there.
Nana had 15 kids.
She knows how to get down. You know what I mean? It couldn't have been that dirty. She must have enjoyed it. Well, that was before cable too, so you never really know. Maybe they were just bored.
I just don't understand why people say.
I think it's just. I think that's just something they
call
say.
It dirty movie.
I don't. I mean, what makes sex any more dirty than, watching drug dealers or, I mean, that's dirty. I mean, watching, why is sex dirtier?
And if God made it, like everybody thinks,
it's natural, right?
Right. So
as long as it's between
God
a man and a
made
woman.
something dirty, I mean, I don't believe in the whole God thing.
Look it.
But
Eve gave Adam the piece of fruit, right?
Yes, she did.
You're not even going to go there with that story about God and Adam and Eve and the piece of fruit and all that kind of stuff.
No, maybe it was a video that she watched.
Maybe it was. I don't know that. I don't think that it's dirty. I don't think that every home probably, should have some. I mean, you have to obviously. There's, just to keep it away from, prying eyes. But
now, let's go in. Now talking about porn, and I mentioned that they say that watching porn leads some guys into sexual assaults. And I think I brought this up in a recent show, but I'd like to get your perspective. You heard about the slut walk? Have you ever heard about the slut walk? Not many people heard about the slut walk.
I never heard about it either.
You never heard about? Wow.
How do I get on this? This sounds like fun. Okay.
But I just want your perspective. The slut walk came about because in Canada, there was the college kids in Canada had some kind of parade or some kind of party. They were downtown partying, and one of the girls was sexually assaulted or raped. And one of the Canada police, I think it was Toronto, said to the girl, if you girls stop dressing like sluts, the guys wouldn't sexually assault you.
That's such an enlightened comment,
and
isn't it?
That just started a whole new movement. When you go home and you Google slut walk, now there's a movement. The women are like, we should be able to dress anyhow, any way we care, with the shortest skirts, the lowest cut blouse, without being sexually assaulted by men.
I have varying opinions on that. Because as a woman, I can walk out and I can wear a short skirt and a low-cut shirt and extremely high heels. And I must also accept the fact that there are going to be some people who are going to say things about me that I may not want to hear. So if you're going to dress in a certain way, you've got to take the attention, good and bad.
Thank you.
I don't think that, women don't leave the house dressed like that because they want people to think they're a librarian, that they're going out to play, they're not going to Bible study dressed like that.
That was exactly my point. The last woman I spoke to on the show about that, remember, she said I was putting the blame on the woman. I'm putting the blame on the woman.
I don't believe you're putting, but you know something though, as a woman, when I leave to go out at night, or if I'm going out somewhere, I know what I'm putting on is going to get a certain response from people. But I can't, if somebody decides to take that the wrong way, I know that I better be prepared to take care of that situation. Because I know that there are going to be people who, may not see it that way and may say, well, look at the way she's dressed. She's easy. I can take her out to an alley and I can rape her. Well, you got another thing coming, buddy. You know what I mean? And first of all, you don't put yourself in that kind of position anyway. You're not out walking the streets like this. You know what I mean? If you're dressed a certain way, you dress provocatively, you need to learn to accept that there are going to be people who are going to say things about it that you might not like.
And that was exactly my point.
See, I do the total opposite thing. When I go to Stop and Shop, I don't want to be bothered with anybody, so I wear sweatpants and Crocs.
No, that's just giving up on life.
And scratching myself. So, yeah. But yeah.
Yeah, but a lot of women that I spoke to about this tell me I'm putting the blame on the woman. The whole slut walk thing, women, they get together in groups, they dress high heels, mini skirts, low cut blouses.
Well, if you dress like a slut and you get treated like one, why are you disappointed?
But they're saying just because they're dressed like that does not mean that guys have the right to think anything that they're...
Oh, so now we can judge how people think.
You know what I mean?
Wow.
Guys don't have the right. And I'm
well,
saying
guys don't have the right
but
to...
They don't, but like I said, the last
They don't have the right to physically assault them.
Right.
No, but they have the right to think anything that they want, and they're going to.
Absolutely.
Don't be jaded.
Again,
that's ridiculous.
Men are visual. And
men
first
are
of all,
visual
for
creatures.
a woman,
Absolutely.
For a woman, why would you dress like that if you're not looking for attention?
Absolutely.
Absolutely. They're in front of the mirror, they're looking at themselves, they're propping themselves. I mean,
I agree.
They're doing it because they're looking for they might not look for attention from you. They might be looking for attention from this guy here, but not get
collateral
that attention.
damage.
Yes.
You know what I mean?
But these women are walking down dark alleys 1 o'clock in the morning and saying they have a right to do it.
Of course they have a right to do
they
it,
have a right to
but
do it.
they also have a right to assume responsibility for what happens to them.
There's thousands of millions of guys that will not attack you, but there's those few idiots. There's those few guys
Of course there
that
is.
will.
But you know
But
something
it all
though, too?
depends on how the girl
You
handles
have
herself too.
Exactly.
If she's out drinking and she's
You have to be
slobbering
able to
around.
take some sort of personal responsibility for the actions that you take. If I'm dressed like a slut, I'm not going to go stand at a street corner and then get pissed when someone asks me how much. You know, if you behave in a certain manner, you've got to expect that people are going to do that. You're making conditions ripe for it to happen and then blaming them. It's like the kid in the playground. You walk up to somebody and beg them to punch you in the stomach as hard as they can, and when they do, you cry. Why? You asked for it sometimes. You know, you got to be able to handle yourself.
They would have a problem with that. They don't. The whole slut thing is they don't think that they're asking for anything. They think a woman should be able to
They're just trying to make
dress.
a point. Well, they could dress the
know
way
what I
they
mean?
want.
They can dress any way they
Right.
want, but they have to be prepared to deal with the consequences.
And that's what they're not prepared to do.
Well, then
You know
that's
what
their
I mean?
problem.
They think they should be able to dress whatever, walk around the street whatever, without guys
In a
looking.
perfect world, women should be able to run around naked, drunk as a skunk, and never have a problem.
No, you need to write a book.
I'm sure there's
Now-
a country somewhere like that.
Now, speaking of influences, Gary and I were talking about this earlier. Gary, you have how old is your youngest kid? I have a 12-year-old son.
I have a 9-year-old daughter.
Now, do you buy video games? Or
We play video games together.
do you play like Grand Theft Auto and Call of Duty?
Call of Duty is one of our favorite games. Actually,
Yeah.
it's probably the only game that we play
Yeah.
together.
Now, we were talking about, does video games really make kids violent? What do you think about that?
I kind of have mixed emotions with it. I could see where it could. I definitely think parents need to have some parental guidance on the video games and the movies as well that that their children are watching. I think. I don't think my daughter is going to grab one of my guns, but my guns are all locked up. I don't think she's going to grab one of my guns and go crazy. But let's stop from even thinking that might happen by locking everything up and keeping everything out of her hands, and and not letting her see. But there are people that the children might have some type of mental disorder that I don't think. I think the video games constantly and the movies constantly playing over their head might because I looked this up and there's no facts on this, just a lot of thought into it, where these games and these movies desensitizes our children into death isn't that big of a deal, and that may be so.
I think the kid would have to be a little bit unstable
Yes.
to begin with.
I think as a parent, it's your job to have a discussion with these kids. But again, I grew up on Looney Tunes. I mean, Wile E. Coyote died every single Saturday. Every single Saturday. But again, I mean, I think as a parent, it's your job to sit down with your kids, but you play with her, don't you?
Yes.
Okay, does she understand the difference between shooting somebody on Call of Duty and shooting somebody in real life?
She's afraid of guns.
Exactly. Now, how is a child that's afraid of guns able to play that game? I mean, if that were the case and it was so influential, why can't we play a videotape of, Wall Street or something like that over and over and over and over again so my kid can make $1 million in the stock market? I mean, is it, you have to believe, as a parent, you have to sort of step in. You know your children better than anyone else.
Because I got my son the video game, the ones that say that are so terrible, like the Grand Theft Auto.
Well,
And I
like-
watched him play it, and I talked to him, and I sit and I have a conversation
I did the
with my
same thing with
son
my sons.
about the video games.
I think the reason why they think Grand Theft Auto is so bad, I've played like the first one years ago.
No, the new ones are pretty awful.
Because
They are.
because of them running over and shooting police officers and stuff.
Yeah.
No matter how you think of law enforcement, you should always respect law enforcement. And our kids, thinking that they could run cops over and police officers over and shoot them and blow their heads off and stuff. I think that's
Call of Duty Ghost it dropped last week, I think, right? Because my sons
not
got it
sure.
on pre-order, and
Yeah.
they got, and I said to them, they were playing the game, and I sat there, and they said it's kind of boring. And we sat and we talked about it over dinner, and I said to them, I said, you do know you can't actually go out and shoot people,
Yeah.
right? And like it doesn't go game over, and you get to start back up the next day. You know that, right? And my son looks at me, with a mouthful of, yeah, ma, like I'm some kind of an idiot.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? But I think it's important that you can at least have that kind of discussion with your kids. You can sit down and say, listen.
Well, you need to.
Guns. You need to
Everybody
teach them to have a healthy respect for a gun. I don't have guns in my house. I don't. I didn't grow up in a house with guns. I don't know. I picked them up like this. Like I don't understand anything all about them, nor do I want to. But
the fact that people say a video game can make or contribute to kids going out and shooting people.
I think it
absolutely
desensitizes kids, and I think depending on the child, it could have an impact.
I mean, like you said, back in the day, you guys were saying that somebody said before it was the gangster movies that they were blaming. You know what I mean? Probably blame the Lone Ranger and Tonto.
It makes them look like heroes.
You know what I mean?
I mean, look at John Dillinger. John Dillinger, was one of the worst guys out there, and he was almost idolized.
Yes, he was.
But were kids going out and were they mass murderers and stuff like that when those guys were, when those movies were out?
I wasn't alive back then, but I know.
No, but I don't think guns were as readily available then either. I mean, it's not like every household had a Tommy gun. I mean, it's, weapons are a little more available nowadays to children where they weren't before because, some of the guns that people keep in their houses are just, they're always there.
Well, I don't understand why you need an assault rifle.
I agree. I believe in gun rights, but I don't understand that.
I believe everybody has the right to have a gun,
agree,
but why
I don't understand that.
You know what? There's
Who's breaking into your house, you know what I mean?
There's 350 million people in this country, okay? And there's 310 million guns out there.
Licensed guns.
Yeah. Licensed guns.
I mean, like
out
I
there.
said, I don't have a gun license. Both my parents do. Both my parents carry guns. I don't. I just never saw the need for it. I definitely don't see the need for an assault
Honestly,
rifle.
I think if somebody breaks into your house, I think you need to defend yourself.
I don't have an assault weapon because I'm waiting for somebody to break in my house. I have an assault weapon because I like the gun. I like to target shoot, and that's what I do. I mean.
But again, I'm not against you having that, and I would, if somebody, tried to take that away from you, I would absolutely defend your right to have it. I just personally don't think they're necessary. I mean.
What's
the difference between target shooting with an assault rifle and just a regular rifle or a gun?
It's just a nice gun. I mean, it's just. I mean, see,
it's just
if you're
prettier.
If you're not into guns, you don't know.
No,
I target shoot. Almost.
How many in a clip on an assault rifle? Like.
According to the new law?
10.
Good answer.
No, 10.
Good answer.
You can fire off 10 rounds in like a few seconds.
As fast as you
can pull the trigger.
Yeah.
And that's worse for target shooting?
No, I don't shoot like that. That's how much ammo is?
And you know how hard it is to get, right?
President Obama. It's crazy.
How is that the president's fault?
Because when he got in, everything went up.
Because
he changed the gun laws.
Did he? As far as I know, he didn't change any law.
The national gun laws didn't change. The state gun laws changed.
They assumed that he was going to change the laws.
When he was getting in the first time,
people assumed he was going to change the gun laws,
that's
so the ammo went up.
Well, that's what he talked about.
But he didn't do anything.
No, there's no
thanks to
federal
him,
gun
it still
change.
went up. Yeah,
but he didn't do anything.
And then it was a short time ago, I want to say about a year ago, where you couldn't buy ammo after the Newtown
it was
shooting.
unavailable.
All the ammo was bought up, and the word was that the government was buying up most of the ammo.
Yeah, but we don't know that for a fact.
No,
I mean, that's
not
just
factual,
speculation. But it's coming back. The ammo is coming back slowly but surely. It is coming back.
But do we need that much ammo?
Well, I mean, you do have some people that build bunkers and are afraid of the zombie apocalypse, and to them, you absolutely need ammo.
Yeah, I mean, look at back in the 60s. People were buying bomb shelters. Because it was a whole Kennedy missile crisis. People were building bomb shelters. In the 50s, people were building bomb shelters. They had blackouts in case planes flew over and were going to bomb us. So they had blackouts. The sirens went off.
Again, I don't believe it's necessary, but I believe it's their right. I mean, if that's what they choose to do, if they want to amass, guns and ammo, then all the more power to them.
So if you had a solution for curbing all this gun violence, what would be your solution, Alicia?
Oh, I don't think there is one. To be honest,
you don't think there's?
I think.
How do you stop? Can you really stop these mass murder? Can you honestly though? Can you really stop it? I mean.
Well, just taking Sandy Hook into consideration.
You can't. How would you stop that?
There was no way. But see, the thing is, I lived close to there, and my kids' school went into lockdown that day, and we got a phone call. And they said, I happened to be at work and we heard it on the radio and I got a phone call that my kid's school was in lockdown. Now we didn't, at this point, they didn't know, we didn't have any information. And when you're only the next town over, it makes you a little nervous. Could something like that have been prevented? Absolutely. Now that the details are coming out, you find out that the boy that had done this was, maybe had some mental issues. I don't know. I'll never know what everybody knows. But again, if he had issues, why did he have access to a gun?
Right.
But, as a mother and as a father, would you want to believe that your child is capable of something like that?
No.
Of course not. So, maybe she thought him having the guns was something positive that he could do. I'm sure she didn't see this coming.
But I'm saying, like, everyone is saying they need to, cut back on the guns. But how do you can't stop stuff like that.
You can't stop stuff like that.
My solution to that would be at the schools or just have some kind of security.
We do now. I go to my kid's school. You have to sign in to visitors. You have to be buzzed in, and there is somebody standing at the door there. What is your purpose here?
Absolutely.
I have to sign in and I have to sign out.
Look at the guy in East Haven. I think it was East Haven that he got arrested because he went into the school and it was easy for him to walk in and he videotaped it.
Oh, right, yeah.
And he got arrested for it. I mean, I don't know why.
A father walked into an East Haven school.
Yeah, and he was able to roll.
He wanted to show them how easy it is to get around his kid's school.
Yeah.
Well, I mean, I don't think that he should have been. Well, technically, I mean, I don't know what they arrested him for, but you know what I mean. It's I don't think that that's a bad thing. I mean, I think our kids should be safe. But again, I don't think that tightening the gun laws and taking guns away from law-abiding citizens. I mean, the problem with a criminal is they don't follow the law. So more laws aren't going to matter.
Right. So that's basically what I'm saying.
I think it was in Belgium. Somebody broke into, I think it was a daycare or something, and he hacked children up with a knife. If somebody wants to do something, they're going to do it whether they have a gun or a knife or a car and drive into a crowd of people.
Look at the military base. Look at Fort Hood. I mean, military bases are notoriously secure. And it was one of their own.
Yeah. So basically, I'm saying you can't stop it then.
No, I don't think that there's any way to predict this type of behavior. So I don't know. I mean, I could be wrong. I'm not a PhD. There may be warning signs.
There's warning signs because these people obviously are not stable. Or if they were stable, something happens to where something's going on with them.
Yeah.
And so maybe as a society we should start stepping up, or is that not our place to step on someone's toes?
Yeah, you don't want. I mean, I don't know, but I have worked for a couple of companies and I've worked a couple of places where I go. There's a couple of guys in here that I wouldn't be surprised.
Right.
Yeah,
just not right.
Absolutely.
Every once in a while, we'll joke about it at work. We'll get a crazy in, and it'll be like, that guy's, that guy's got a body in the basement, and we say that as a joke. But if he did, oh my God, what do we do? But I mean, is it really our position to step up? Like if somebody had said to, like the Sandy Hook shooter, if somebody had said to that kid's mother, I think there's something wrong with your kid. Maybe you should lock up the guns.
She would have probably gotten.
She would have gotten nuts. She would have.
You know what? I mean, but nobody knows. Were the guns locked up and he stole the key and broke in? I mean,
he had access to the guns. He did have access to them because he knew how to load, shoot, clean. I mean, that was his thing. He did have access to the guns.
Taking away guns doesn't solve anything. There's nothing that we can really do.
Yeah, you could. You could actually. Instead of taking the guns away, I mean, you can't fire a gun if you don't have ammo. So you keep track of how much ammo is purchased by somebody.
I don't know if that would work also because, I mean, who am I to just, you have 75 guns, here's 2 bullets. Have a nice day.
No, but if you're buying cases and cases and stockpiling ammo.
It only takes 1 bullet to kill somebody. It doesn't take cases.
Yeah. There's nothing, there was a guy in New Jersey last week that went into he killed himself afterwards, but he went to the mall in New Jersey. Did you guys see that? Paramus?
Well,
he started shooting, but he shot up into the ceiling.
What was the mall overseas? They had a hostage situation, right? Was it in Africa? It was in Africa.
Oh,
right?
yes.
And he held the entire mall hostage. And killed how many people?
So my point is you can't really stop these shootings. You can't.
You can't. It's
I don't think taking away guns is going to help.
the best thing to do is to just educate people, give them a healthy respect for the weapons, teach them how to use them, and you know what? As sad as it sounds, teach kids and people in large places. Maybe there should be something to do if there's a gun drill. If somebody enters the school with a gun, maybe the building should go on lockdown.
Look at when you were in school, you always had fire drills. Mm-hmm. And how many kids have actually died in a fire?
Mm-hmm. He's right.
Yeah.
I mean, there's more kids that have died by gun violence in schools.
In schools than in fires. He's right. I mean, maybe they're, as much as society doesn't want to, maybe it's something that we have to prepare for.
Or don't want to face.
My solution would be to spend more money, securing the schools.
But you know what? Now, I
I
mean,
mean,
you know,
that was
but
mine.
now you're securing the schools, so it's like the kids feel like they're in prison too.
Well,
I mean, you
I'd
know,
rather them
it's-
feel like they're in prison and, you know, be dead. But we got to wrap this up.
why?
But you're having so much fun.
We have to wrap this up. This has been another fun episode of Real Life with me, Carl Yard. Give it up. Like,
Like we're on stage.
Gary Pettinella.
Thank you.
My lovely guest, Alicia Constantino. Thank you very much. You guys have a great night.